Hello students, today we will discuss about concept of matrix algebra. I am Dr. Animesh Kumar Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics. Today we will cover topics of matrix algebra, concept of matrix algebra in computational biology, definition of matrix, various concept of matrices, algebra of matrices, elementary transformation, rank of matrix, echelon form of matrix, eigenvalue and eigenvector, and last but not least properties of eigenvalue and eigenvectors. So, why matrices? Why we say matrices? Matrices are very helpful in algebra. There are certain points. First, they help us organize and write down long system of equations. Second, they show us a way to check if these equations have a solution by using the determinant. If the determinant has a specific value, we know there is a solution is possible. And third, if there is a solution, matrices also guide us in finding it. So, matrices are useful tool that makes algebra problems much easier to solve. Concept of matrix algebra in computational biology. The concept of matrix algebra plays a vital role in computational biology by providing important mathematical tools to analyze and process biological data efficiently. Here are some ways in which matrix algebra helps in this field. The very first field in which concept of matrix algebra is used is sequence alignment. In computational biology, researchers often need to compare and align biological sequences such as DNA, RNA, or protein sequences. This involves finding reasons of similarity or homology between sequences. Matrix algorithms such as dynamic programming are used for sequence alignment, where element of the matrix represent the scores of different match or mismatch or certain gaps. The second vast field where matrix algebra used is network analysis. Biological systems often be represented as complex networks such as protein-protein interaction network or metabolic networks. Matrix algebra allows to analyze these networks, identify important nodes or certainties and understand the overall structure and dynamics of the biological system. The third area, system biology modeling. System biology aims to understand the behavior of biological system as a whole, taking into account the interaction between various components. Matrices are used to model the interaction between genes, proteins, and other molecules, allowing researchers to stimulate and analyze the behavior of the entire system under various different conditions. The next field is protein structure prediction. Matrices are also used in bioinformatics to predict the three-dimensional structure of proteins based on their amino acid sequences. Techniques like homology modeling use alignment matrices to identify structurally similar proteins and transfer their known structures to predict the structure of the target protein. So, now let us start the basic concept of matrix. How can we represent a matrix and how can we determine the various concept of matrix? So, a matrix in plural form we use matrices is an arrangement of elements. Elements may be numbers, symbols or expressions than in a rectangular array. So, a matrix is an arrangement of a rectangular array. This arrangement is done in horizontal rows and vertical columns, having an order that is number of row by number of column. Suppose we have a matrix having m row and n column, then we read it as m by n, the matrix of order m by n. See in the figure, we have a matrix of 3 by 3 order. There are 3 row and 3 columns. Each element are represented by some positional element. Now we see various concept of matrices. The very first concept of matrix or kind of matrix is row matrix. Row matrix is also called as row vector. A matrix having only single row and any number of column is called a row matrix or row vector. For example, if we have a matrix represented by T, then we have a row matrix having 4 elements such as 1, -1, 2 and 8. Similarly, the second kind of matrix is column matrix or column vector. Like row matrices, if a matrix having only single column and any number of row, then it is called a column matrix, or we can say column vector. As named column matrix, suppose a representation denoted by T, then we have 4 elements in any column matrix. So, here is an example. T will be equal to column matrix, elements are 2, 5, 7 and 8. The third type of matrix, which is known as 0 or null matrix. A matrix whose all the elements are 0 is called 0 matrix, or sometimes it is called null matrix. It is generally denoted by the capital alphabet of English, that is O. So, if we denote any matrix by O, means all the elements of the matrix is 0. It may be a column matrix or row matrix or any m by n matrix. If all the elements are 0, then it is said to be 0 matrix. Another kind of matrix is a square matrix. A matrix is called a square matrix when the number of row and number of column of any matrix is equal. To represent the order of a square matrix, only use the letter small n. The small n represent column, number of column as well as number of row in that given matrix. For example, we have a matrix represented by S. In this matrix, we have 4 row and 4 columns. The elements of the matrix are 1, -1, 2, 3 representing the first row, the second row 3, 2, 5, 5, the third row 5, 6, 1 and 6, and the last row of the matrix S is 6, 7, 3 and 8. So, order of this matrix is 4. Another important kind of matrix, diagonal matrix. A square matrix whose all non-diagonal elements are 0 and at least one diagonal element is non-zero is called a diagonal matrix. Means if we have a position element of row and column are same, then we can say that the square matrix having a diagonal. For example, we have a matrix D, and in D this is highlighted the diagonal elements. The diagonal elements are 1, -2 and 5. The position of these elements are first row first column, second row second column, and the last element 5 in third row third column. Another important type of matrix is unit or identity matrix. A diagonal matrix whose all diagonal elements are unity, that is 1, then it is called a unit or identity matrix. Identity matrix is denoted by I. For example, we have a 2 by 2 identity matrix. The diagonal elements are 1 and the non-diagonal elements are 0, and it is represented by I. The next important kind of matrix is a scalar matrix. A diagonal matrix whose all diagonal elements are same is called a scalar matrix. Remember, in unit matrix we have the diagonal element as 1, so we can say scalar matrix is representing the elements other than 1 and all the elements are same, then it is said to be scalar matrix. So, we have an example of 2 by 2 matrix, and in that matrix the principal diagonal or diagonal element represented by 3 and non-diagonal element are represented as 0. The next important kind of matrix is upper triangular matrix. A square matrix in which all the elements below the diagonal are 0 is called an upper triangular matrix. So, as we can see in the figure, if we represent a matrix by U, then the off diagonal elements are 0 or below the diagonal elements are 0. The diagonal elements are 1, minus 2 and 5, and all the diagonal elements are make a triangle with other elements of that matrix. The order of the matrix are 3 by 3. Similarly, another important matrix is lower triangular matrix. Like upper triangular matrix, in lower triangular matrix is also a square matrix in which all the elements above the diagonal elements are 0 and the below diagonal elements are not 0, is called lower triangular matrix. For example, as we can see in the figure, we have L as a square matrix in which all the above diagonal elements are 0 and diagonal and below the diagonal elements are non-zero. The diagonal elements are 1, minus 2 and 5, and these diagonal elements makes a triangle with other elements of these square matrix. Another most important concept in matrix are trace of a matrix. The sum of all diagonal elements of a square matrix is called the trace of a matrix. For example, if we have a 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 order matrix represented by M, the elements of these matrix is represented by 1, 4, 3 in first row, 3, 2, minus 1 in second row, and 5, minus 2, 5 in third and last row. As we can see, the diagonal elements are 1, 2 and 5. Then as per the given definition, trace will be equal to sum of the diagonal element, that is 1 plus 2 plus 5. So the total of the diagonal are 8. So this sum is said to be trace of the given matrix of order 3 by 3. Another important concept of matrix is transpose of a matrix. Matrix obtained by interchanging column and row of any given matrix is called transpose of a matrix and is denoted by matrix name with dash or matrix name with superscript T. So we can take an example. If we have a square matrix B, order is 3 by 3, and if we define the element of these matrix row wise as 1, 0, 3 in first row, 3, minus 1 and 7 in second row, 5, minus 2, 5 in third and last row. Then according to definition of transpose of matrix, the transpose of matrix denoted by B dash or B transpose will be equivalent to 1, 3, 5 as a first row, which is subsequently elements of B as in first column. Similarly, the second row of the transpose matrix is another second column element of the given matrix, that is 0, minus 1, minus 2, and similarly the last row elements are 3, 7, 5. So if B represent a element as Bij having the order m by n, then definitely B transpose or B dash are representing the interchanging of row and column as Bji, and similarly the number of row and column represent the order of matrix which is interchanged from the original matrix. Next important concept of matrix is symmetric matrix. A square matrix B having Bij as an element, I and j represent the position of row and position of column, and suppose the order of the matrix is m by n, is called a symmetric matrix if Bij will be equal to Bji. Remember, here I represent the position of row and j represent the position of column in particular matrix. So if B will be equal to transpose of the matrix, that is Bt, then the matrix is said to be symmetric matrix. For example, if we have a matrix B having the element 1, 4, 2 as first row, 4, minus 2, 6 as second row, and 2, 6, 5 in third and last row, then it can be easily seen that if we transpose all the row to column, then B transpose is also having the same element as 1 4 2 in first row, 4 minus 2 6 in second row, and in the third and last row we have 2 6 and 5. That is, the given matrix B is a symmetric matrix. Another important matrix are skew symmetric matrix. The only difference between symmetric and skew symmetric matrix is, the first difference is all the diagonal elements are 0 and the actual matrix will be equal to minus of the element of the original matrix. So, if B will be equal to minus of transpose of the given matrix, then we can say that yes, this matrix is an skew symmetric matrix. Similarly, diagonal element of a skew symmetric matrix are 0, because if the diagonal elements are not 0, then B is not equal to minus of transpose of that matrix. Conjugate of a matrix, another important concept of matrix. A matrix obtained from any given matrix, suppose matrix A, on replacing its element by the corresponding conjugate complex number, then it is called the conjugate of A. It is denoted by bar A. For example, if we have a complex matrix having 2 row and 3 column defined by and represented by capital letter A, then A will be equal to, the first row elements are 1 plus 3i, 2 plus 5i and 8, and the second and last row we have minus I, next element 6, and the last element is 9 minus I. As we can see, all the elements in matrix A in the form of complex number. So, bar A represent the conjugate of matrix. We know very well that the bar of any complex matrix representing the conjugate complex number, and conjugate complex number only the imaginary part having different sign. So, all the element taking different sign, we have 1 minus 3i, 2 minus 5i and 8 as a first row, and second and last row is I, 6, and the last element is 9 plus I. So, A bar represent the conjugate of original matrix A. Now, conjugate matrix. Conjugate is a combination of two words, transpose and conjugate. So, we can say that transposed conjugate of any matrices means we apply two concept of matrices once. We can take conjugate of any given matrix and also transpose of the matrix. So, the conjugate of transpose of any matrix B is called conjugate of matrix B, and it is briefly denoted by B theta. For example, if we have a complex matrix having element 1 minus 2i, 2 plus 3i, 3 plus 4i as a first row, 4 minus 5i, 5 plus 6i, 6 minus 7i as second row, and last and third row 8, 7 plus 8i and 7. First we take the transpose of the matrix B transpose. In B transpose we change all the row in respective columns, and after that if we take transpose of that matrix and conjugate of that matrix, then we will find easily the conjugate of matrix, and it is represented by B theta. The next important concept is idempotent matrix. This is a special kind of matrix which defines some specific condition. So, suppose we have a matrix M. A matrix M is said to be idempotent matrix if the square of M will be equal to M. Identity matrix is always an idempotent matrix. Why? Since the multiplication of identity matrix to itself again get the result as identity matrix. As we see earlier, identity matrix is a square matrix having all the diagonal value 1 and all the non-diagonal elements as 0. The properties of matrices. or idempotent matrix. The following are the important properties of an idempotent matrix. The idempotent matrix is a square matrix. The non-diagonal elements can be non-zero element. The characteristic roots or eigenvalue or latent root of an idempotent matrix is either 0 or 1. So, this is very basic concept of idempotent matrix. If we find the characteristic roots or eigenvalues, then in idempotent matrix it is definitely in the form of 0 or 1. And the last, the trace of an idempotent matrix is always an integer, not in fraction. Another important concept, that is involutory matrix. A matrix B is said to be involutory matrix if B square will be equal to identity matrix of order n. Means if we have a square matrix, suppose B, and suppose we multiply to B to itself, and if we get resultant as a identity matrix, then this matrix is said to be involutory matrix. Properties. The following are the important properties of an involutory matrix. Identity matrix is always an involutory matrix. Why? Since the I square will be equal to I. When we multiply identity matrix to itself, then again we get the resultant as identity matrix. If A and B two are involutory matrix, then definitely A dot B will be equal to B dot A, and if scalar multiplication of A and B and A are same, then A dot B is also an involutory matrix. This is one of the important concept of involutory matrix. If a diagonal matrix A is derived from an involutory matrix, then A is also an involutory matrix. Means if we find a diagonal matrix derived from the given involutory matrix, then definitely the resultant is also a involutory matrix. And the determinant value of any involutory matrix is found to be either +1 or -1. A relationship is also be established between matrix M and N. We can find a matrix A is involutory if and only if N will be equal to half of the sum of matrix M with identity matrix I, where N is necessarily idempotent. The characteristic roots of any involutory matrix is always in the form of +1 or -1. Also, a symmetric is always orthogonal if it is involutory, and also the vice versa. An involutory matrix B can also be an idempotent matrix, where B must be an identity matrix. So, these are some of the important property regarding involutory matrix established with the idempotent matrix. The next point is singular and non-singular matrix. It is completely depending upon the determinant value. A square matrix is a singular matrix if its determinant value is 0. For example, if we have a matrix A having 3 row and 3 column, that is its order is 3 by 3, having the element 1, 2 and 3 in first row, 4, 5 and 6 in second row, and 7, 8, 9 in third row, then its determinant is defined by mod of A, and mod of A will be equal to mod of or determinant of all the elements of the matrix. After expanding these determinant, we can get the whole value as 0. Clearly, the matrix A is a singular matrix, and if the determinant of A is not equal to 0, then it is a non-singular matrix. The another important concept of matrix is equality of matrices. Two matrices of same order are said to be equal or said to be same if the corresponding positional elements are equal, and we can write matrix 1 will be equal to matrix 2. That is, if we have two matrices having the element Aij, remember I and j represent the position of row and position of column, and m by n represent the order of matrix. So, if we have two matrices having order m by n, elements of first matrices represented by Aij and elements of second matrices represented by Bij, they are said to be equal if and only if all the positional element, all the corresponding element of both the matrix are same, and also orders are also same. Now, algebra of matrices. This is the one of most important thing which represent certain important operational properties of matrices. The first operation, first basic operation of matrices is addition and subtraction of matrices. Let two matrices, suppose x and y, in the same order. So, the addition of these two matrices is represented by x plus y, and similarly to subtract both the matrices, we simply subtract the corresponding element. Now, if x will be equal to xij having the order m by n and y will be equal to yij having the order m by n, then sum of the both matrices x plus y will be represented by the corresponding sum of the element as xij plus yij, and similarly the order of both the element having m by n. The properties of algebra of matrices, first operation addition and similarly for subtraction. Let any three matrices x, y and z are of the same order. Suppose the order of each and every three matrices are m by n, then they holds some important law. The first algebraic law, that is commutative law, means if we add elements of y to x or if we add element of x to y, that is x plus y and y plus x, if the value are same, then it is commutative. So, yes, addition of two matrices represent or holds the commutative law. Similarly, the algebra of matrices, that is addition and subtraction of matrices, in addition of three matrices they hold associative law. X plus y plus z will be equal to x plus y and after that plus z. Also holds distributive law, that is if we have a scalar quantity as k and if we have two matrices as x and y, then k dot x plus y will be equal to k dot x plus k dot y. Remember, here dot represent the scalar multiplication of k with respective matrices and their elements. Here k is represented as a constant. For example, if we have the matrix 119 as a first row element, 282 as a second row element and minus 3 to 4 as a third and last row element, and similarly if we have another matrices, first row elements are 1, minus 3 and 9, the second row element as 2, 8 and 2, and third and last row elements are minus 3, 4 and 4, then after the sum we get the resultant as 2, minus 2, 18 as a first row, 4, 16, 4 as a second row, and last and third row minus 6, plus 6 and 8. Remember, all the corresponding elements as position we add, that is 1 plus 1 will be 2, 1 plus minus 3 that is minus 2, 9 plus 9 as 18, and similarly we find all the remaining element of the matrix. Similarly, to subtract the matrices, we simply subtract the corresponding elements. Hence, if we have first matrix X as xij having the order m by n and y having the order m by n, then x minus y will be equal to subtraction of xij minus yij having the order m by n. Remember, x minus y is not equal to y minus x, means the subtraction of two matrices does not follow the commutative law. After the addition and subtraction of matrices, now the important part of operation of matrices is multiplication of a matrix by a scalar or constant. To multiply a matrix by a scalar expression k, we have to multiply all the elements of matrix by k individually. That is, if k is a scalar and m is a matrix, then k dot m is a matrix such that each of its elements is k times the corresponding given elements of matrix M. Therefore, k into M is said to be the product or multiplication of M by scalar quantity k. That is, if M represented by the element aij, remember I represent the row and j represent the column, then k into M represent the collection of k into aij, where I represent the row position and j represent the column position in that matrix. For example, now we see the representation of matrix in the form of word problem. A manufacturing company having two units A and B. The manufacturing unit A produces 15 unit biodegradable products and 80 ordinary products in a month, and another unit B produces 40 unit biodegradable product and 100 ordinary products in a month, and the question is find the production of each unit in 7 months, and we have to represent these elements using matrix representation. So, to solve the problem, word problem, suppose we have a column vector. The column vector 15 and 80 as element represent the number of products produced by unit A of the manufacturing company. Similarly, column vector 40 and 100 as element of column vector represent the number of products produced by unit B of the manufacturing company. So, if we take all together, therefore, unit A, unit B and biodegradable products as well as ordinary products, then we have a 2 by 2 matrix and representation, suppose x are there. So, x will be equal to 15 and 80 as a first column of unit A and 40 and 100 as a second column of unit B. This matrix represents the production of 1 month, production of 7 months. So, to find the production of 7 months, let us multiply 7 to hold the matrix. So, 7 into 15, that is 105, 7 into 40, 280, 7 into 80, 560 and 7 into 100, 700. Apart from solving system of linear equation and system of linear equation representation, we can use matrix algebra to solve underdetermined system as well. These systems may range from 100 to 1000 rows or columns. We will learn how to solve these types of problem in subsequent classes. Thank you. Happy learning.